Hey, what's going on? It's me, Joe Polyak, and I'm here with my very good friend, Elena Lustina. And we've known each other since we were like 1 year old. Okay.
3.
Oh, 3. Okay. So today she offered to let us come through and try and see how she makes pirozhkis. Pirozhkis, if you don't know, for us Ukrainian, Belarusian, whatever, from the Richmond district, San Francisco, or all over, pirozhkis are our like go-to, the only thing that Americans know about Russian food. Whenever you're like, oh yeah, Russian food, or they're like, oh, what is that? Like pirozhkis or yeah, exactly. That's what we're gonna make right now. And Elena makes some super bomb ones that I'm excited to try. So please tell us what you're doing today.
Oh wait, I'm gonna wash my hands.
Oh, and actually I want to give Elena a shout out. Flour Needs Love. Flour Needs Love with a K. Flour Needs Love on Instagram, and we're gonna post that in the description. We'll make sure we tag her on everything, and you'll know where to find her. Wait, Elena, real quick, tell us, what are you doing? You're selling recipes, you're selling the actual food, you're selling Zoom videos. What are you selling?
We sell whatever you want.
Yes,
whatever we can make.
Yes.
And we offer tutorials and cooking lessons, whether through Zoom or in the home. So first we have milk and water. You have to warm it up a little bit. You don't want to make it too hot because it'll burn your yeast, and you can't make it too cold because then your yeast won't activate. So it'll warm up. It'll take a couple minutes, and then we'll start throwing everything together. So while that's warming up, I'm gonna prepare some oil.
Where'd you learn this, by the way?
I just sort of picked up on it.
Pirozhki specifically? No grandma, no mom taught you?
No, I just taught my mom. No.
Oh my God, my mom can't cook either. My grandma did, but she doesn't.
My mom does cook, but no, I learned it. I have a friend who also cooks a lot, and so we kind of started exchanging recipes.
Okay, so you just put salt in there?
Salt and oil.
Okay, perfect. And that's milk. Okay.
Yep, that's milk and water.
So what is this that we're making? Like this particular, is this for the...
Oh, it's for the dough.
For the dough,
We're making
okay.
the dough first.
Okay. Ah, so we're making dough straight from scratch.
Right. We're going to make the dough first, and then after that, we're going to make the filling and go from there.
Can you imagine how the like old babushkas in the Odessa or something were like sitting there and like figuring out how to make sure that it's like not too hot, not too cold, like, man.
Yeah, but they know. It's like in their blood.
My grandma used to make bomb pirozhkis, and then Teta Vera used to make, well, she still makes, well, if I asked her, she would hook it up. But now Elena's taking over the torch.
Of the grandmas.
Of the grandmas.
Okay, so we warmed up the milk. We warmed up the water. We're going to pour it in here. You got the salt and the oil already in here. That's it. You want to give it a little swirl. Get it all nice and mixed up. Okay. And now we're going to add the... I think I overheated the milk.
I feel like I'm going to be making Russian food orders from you fairly often.
There's certain things where I'm just like...
Pilmeni? You're a pilmeni master.
Yeah, I make that. I taught my mom how to make pilmeni. That was what it's called.
I can't wait for pilmeni too. But well, let's stick to pirozhki. Pirozhki are super bomb, and they come in all types of flavors, if you will. We have potato, right?
Potato and mushroom. Beef.
Mm-hmm.
Beef and cheddar.
Mm-hmm. But beef and cheddar, that's like an American thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like...
And they don't taste as good.
I love regular beef because it's like juicy, but then it's not too dry either.
Right.
But it's dry enough. You can't have it when it's like completely moist and melting. It's like a hot pocket. It's still bomb. Like, don't get me wrong, but my favorite flavor actually is mushroom potato.
Mushroom potato are so good.
Do you throw any dill in yours? This is a quick question. Do you throw dill in yours? Okay.
I do.
Dill. Quick tip. That's a super Russian thing.
You know, I didn't like dill growing up. I hated dill.
Me too.
But now I love dill.
A little bit in the
filling.
In the filling is amazing, but you know where I use dill is roasted potatoes.
Yeah.
Just regular roasted potatoes, but dill, Russianize it. Garlic and dill.
Yeah. One thing that Russians don't do that well is they like to overcook their food. So
that's true. Every old Russian man at the table is like, well done, please, medium well. I'm like, no, man, this is high quality ribeye, prime. Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready. Okay, so now we're going to throw in our yeast. There it goes. And over the yeast, we're going to add some sugar. And you want to put it over the top, sprinkle it well. Now it's going to sit for 3 to 5 minutes until we get a foam layer on top. Mm-hmm. And that's when we know the yeast has been activated.
So Elena is not giving us the measurements here because the game is to be sold, not told. So if you want the measurements, you got to go to Flour Needs Love with a K. Flour Needs Love.
Cool. Thanks, Joe.
Game is to be sold, not told. I think that's a Jay-Z quote, the famous philosopher.
So it's been about 4 minutes. Our yeast has settled. You smell that? So now it smells, it's awake. So now we're ready to mix our dough. And you can tell that it's foamed up. There you go. It's risen. And now we're ready to roll.
It basically smells like early stages of bread. Whatever that means.
So this is our KitchenAid. It's a lifesaver in the kitchen. Everyone should get one.
We have one. I don't think I've used it one time in my entire life. Well, and Val makes me have it on the counter.
Yeah, you should. Because I used to not keep mine on the counter.
Uh-huh.
And I've dropped it. And that was really sad. Not this one. Hold on. So this is pre-sifted flour. I always pre-sift my flour. It makes the bread softer. So you want to slowly add the flour in.
What does that mean to pre-sift it? Ah, okay. And then you go like this, and it's,
Yeah.
Okay, oh.
Until it's clear.
So it's not chunky, that's the whole point.
Yeah, and it's softer. Okay, so one thing to note about pierogi is a lot of people, have you ever had dense pierogi where they weren't very soft?
I believe I have, yeah.
So that's because they've over-kneaded their dough. So you want to just incorporate your flour till it's just incorporated, and then you leave it. And you want to slowly add it.
If you over-knead, it gets too tough.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I heard you call it something, but I didn't know what that was. What is a pierogi? Did you mean pirozhki?
Oh, yeah, I did.
See, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you grow up in America.
Okay, so all of our flour is almost incorporated. Once it is, we're going to knead it for another 2 minutes, and then we're going to have our dough. So the KitchenAid gets you to not do it with your hands, because otherwise we'd be doing it with our
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
That's the whole point of this.
Yeah. Sourdough, though, you don't need in a mixer.
Oh, really? Why? That needs real love?
It needs real love.
Okay.
And we're going to knead this by hand a little bit when we take it out. That's it. We've got dough.
We got dough. Do that dough. Need that dough.
All right. So now I'm just going to cover it and let it sit. I'm going to transfer it into 2 bowls because we are doing a double portion. It'll rise and spill over. So now we let the dough rise for about 2 hours.
Okay.
Or an hour and a half. I'm going to put it in a warm room. We have our dough rising. It's going to be another hour and a half. You'll feel it as it rises. The plastic is going to rise a bit too. It'll be pretty cool. You'll see it at the end. And that's it. Now it's a lot of inactive time. Okay. And we're back. So it's been about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Our dough has risen. It's got nice air bubbles if you look close enough. So we are ready to roll it out. The dough is nice and soft. So that'll make our pierogi nice and airy. It'll rise again after we knock it out. Okay. And again, this is only half of our dough. The other half is still keeping it warm. Okay, we have our oil preheating over there. We want that nice and warm and hot, really. So you want to get a nice big board when you're doing this. Prevents a lot of mess in the kitchen. Anyone that cooks a lot wants to keep their kitchen nice and clean. So this board is actually gifted to me from my husband's grandma. It's actually from Ukraine. So it's got some history, which we love about it in our house. You want to roll this out to the thickness that you want to cut. I like to keep things even. And then once I'm ready to cut, you can make them as small, as big as you want. Folks I cook for like them nice and big. We'll get that to them. And you can see why I need a big board. What you don't want to do is have them oversit. Once the dough oversits, your pierogi won't be as airy. So you don't want it to overproof. It may look like it's still rising, but then it'll drop really fast when you fry them or bake them. All right, so we want it about to this thickness because pierogi are known to be airy. You don't want anything too thin. And then you just cut. I had this pre-floured, so we're gonna cut it. Okay, so now we're gonna fill it. We've got some beef pierogies. Filling is great. And we're just gonna fill them up and then we're gonna put them together and fry them. So I put about probably close to a tablespoon of filling in each one. I try to fill them as much as I can. That always depends on the elasticity of the dough. Okay, so we've some beef. We have veggies in there mixed in, herbs to keep it fresh. So now I'm wrapping it up. Try a couple different shapes. Everyone has their own flavor, right? So wrap them up and then we'll throw them in. This whole process needs to be fast. You don't want your dough to dry out. Got it nice and tight so they don't break open. And then I flip it on its side, on its back really. I'm gonna come back here. And I like to give it a nice roll at the end, just to cover up that seam so it looks a little better. So you want to get rid of any excess flour. No one wants that. That's not the stuff they're after, right? Nice and neat. Trying out some new shapes today. You see how the seam is almost not there. So you want to put it seam side down. It's boiling up. You want to make sure it doesn't flip over. Sometimes they'll do that. Keep it over. And sometimes they'll do that if they're really full. And that's it. And we'll see what the results are in a minute. So now we get ready to flip. And it's nice and golden brown. Nothing opened up. It's perfect. And sometimes it does that because it's full of air and full of meat. And the dough is nice and soft. That's also why it's flipping over a little bit. You got one almost done. Give it a nice roll. This also makes your filling nice and even. No one wants to bite into a pierogi and only get bread. So again, we're going to go seam side down. Got a good sizzle because your oil's hot and you want to make sure you're keeping that up. And sometimes if I feel like, hey, there's not enough stuffing in there, I'll stuff it while I'm rolling it. Get it nice and full. And you can do any filling you like. Everyone has their flavor, so you can even wet your hands for some of it if you're not getting a good seal because of the flour. That helps. You don't want them to proof either. So you don't want them, you definitely, when you're cooking, they don't need to be standing out for long. Don't pre-fill them. Just make them as you go. Perfect. Just throw that one in. These are probably ready to be flipped or come out. Nice and airy. Got those air bubbles from your good dough. And they'll deflate a bit, just because the oil fattens them up. That's okay. So we're also making some with cabbage today. Now this is a more modern take on sauteed cabbage. There's some bacon in there. We have onions, some carrots, some other special ingredients. You can make them however you'd like. The secret is though, to make sure they're filled well. So you always top it off a little bit. No one wants an empty pierogi. Now, you always want to keep a towel near you because you don't want the outside of your pierogi to have any filling in it. That kind of ruins the surprise there. When I was a kid, I remember biting into a pierogi from a store. And it was like all bread and just a little bit of filling. We're going for the opposite of that. You want less bread. Still want some bread because that's what the good dough is a great part of eating a pierogi. But the filling is, the queen of it. Nice and round shape, even edges. Fillings rolled out evenly across the pierogi. If you ever get it stuck, use your friendly bench scraper. That's it. All right, these look great. They're heavy.
Okay, now the moment we've all been waiting for, the taste test.
Okay, so these are with beef, and these are with cabbage and bacon.
Okay, so what I have here is one beef one and one cabbage and bacon one. It's hot, and it's kind of like burning my hands almost, but that's how you know it's fresh. So let's get a little, oh, and the crispness of this, oh my God, that is amazing. We're gonna give some to the cameraman. Yeah, I usually not like dill, but without it, it'd be different. Oh, okay, what do we got in here?
So
I see some beef,
herbs,
of course.
There's beef, there's onions and mushrooms.
Ooh.
And carrots.
Oh my God, yeah, I thought I saw the carrots. Okay, that's delicious. Now, the cameraman has to try one. Oh, thank you. There we go.
That's okay.
You spilled? I take you to my friend's house and you spill? Oh my God, I'm so sorry about this.
That's delicious. Thank you.
Now, this next one is the
Cabbage with bacon.
cabbage and bacon. Freshly homemade. Oof. There we go. Oh, you feel that. So this one's a little bit softer of a texture, but still.
More oil in the bacon, from the bacon.
Oh, more oil because it's more oily for the bacon.
And the cabbage is more watery.
Perfect. Подожди, это кошерное?
Yeah.
Of course.
Extra kosher.
Extra kosher. Growing up, I didn't like Russian food. That's because they didn't know how to make it right. Like, flour needs love with a K. Delicious.
Awesome. Glad you like it.
Thank you so much. And so, remind us what you're selling. You're selling the actual food. You're selling the classes. You're selling the ingredients. And you're selling whatever people buy. That's how we do it. Haha. I heard you call it something, but I didn't know what that was. What is a pierogi? Did you mean pirozhki?